Hey guys, Bad. I'm back with a little different type of video. Um, I guess I just want to show you how, well, my way of thinking when it comes to uh, finding new books in long boxes, or when I go to different comic shops, or if I go to a thrift store or whatever. What are basically the criteria that I look for when I'm hunting? Cause I'm kind of picky to a fault, and uh, it's good in a way, but yeah, it can be kind of bad in a way. So I have like 8 things that I really look for, and mentally in the back of my head when I'm trying to hunt down comics or going through long boxes. That at least I try to make a book fit three of the 8 criteria, maybe more. Um, Give or take, depending on what era the book came from, what condition the book is in. And condition is one of the criteria, um, depending on the era of the comic book. Um, but number one that I look for is the book hot. Is it a hot book uh, that has value that I can find in a dollar bins or in $2 bins or whatever, but find it way cheaper than what it's going for? Characters, number two. Is it a definite character in this book that's either hot or could be hot in the future? That's what I look for. Variants. Now, variants stretch a whole lot of ways. You got so many different types of variants. You got the printing variants, first, second, third on up. You got newsstands. You got direct editions, that's pre 1985. Um, You have error books, books that have an error, be it a page count error, a coloring error, a printer's error, whatever. Double cover, it just goes on and on and on. And the rarity of a book in variants. Sometimes it's a low print run, or it could be, like I said, an error or whatever that causes it to be a rarer book. Now, condition. Now, this one's kind of tricky because, for the most part, when it's a modern book or copper, bronze, or whatever, I'm a stickler for trying to get it in the best condition as possible, especially a book off the rack, a brand new book. It definitely has to be a 9.8. Now, the only exception to that rule for me is if it's a super hot book, like Strange, right now, Strange Academy is hot, and that book, yeah, I would take that with a few spine ticks if I could get it cheap. Like I said, it comes into how much I'm willing to pay for the book. Um, Cover art. This isn't like one of the well, it's been around. Cover art has always been a draw as far as the comic book is concerned. Um, but it seems now more prevalent that cover artists are really like in the majority now. Um, that plays in a value. And number six is sentimental reasons. Now, I will pick a book up if it reminds me of something from my childhood, or something, a title that I liked back when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm partial to those, and I do relax my condition on those. And I relax my condition on anything silver and older, because it's hard to find those type of books in 9.8, 9.6, or whatever. In mint condition, it's harder. So I do relax the condition on that. Now, the price. Now, if I can get a hot book at a reasonable to very cheap price, oh yeah, I'm all in for that. I will get that book. And sometimes it's the titles. Like right now, Star Wars books are hot. Venom is hot. Thor is hot. Incredible Hulk is hot. You got Dark Knight's Metal, which is hot. Um, those books, are basically going to hold their own as far as value in the course of time. Now, to show you, give you examples of what I'm talking about, let's start with this one. I've been prattling on for 5 minutes and not showing any comics. Marvel Point One, number 1. First appearance of Ms. Marvel. This book fits a couple of criteria here. It's a hot book. The character, the first appearance of Ms. Marvel, and the condition. It's in excellent condition, and this one is a keeper. This book is hot right now. Now, here is the Marvel Now variant. This is the second printing variant. This book is super hot, and it's super hard to get. I got lucky. I found a couple of these in a 5 and below. 2 years ago or so, they were in 5 and below packs. And at that time, the second print book wasn't going for nothing. It was like, because the Marvel Point One, the original issue at that time wasn't really hot. It was just starting to get hot, but the second printing wasn't worth it. Really, nobody's paying no attention to it. I put it that way. And I almost gave these to my grandkids when I got them out the pack. And I got like I don't know what you call it. I will give away comic books, and then I turn around and they'll turn around and be valuable, But I mean, it is what it is. I don't complain, I've had books, some real valuable books that I just gave away, It's just part of the game, And this second print is now worth a lot of money. Now, continuing on with characters, okay. This character here, King Shark, is like kind of hot now because of the new Suicide Squad movie. Okay, this is the direct edition, which is this book came out in 1994. So the newsstand will be the more attractable book to have, which I do have right here. This is the newsstand. Now, they're identical. These books are identical. Only thing separates them is the UPC code, the direct sales on one and just the newsstand barcode on the other. But the barcode one is rarer because it's less printed and it's worth a lot more money than the first print. All right, now these are variants that I wanted to show. God Country came out a while ago, and it's starting to pick up again with rumors of it becoming a movie or a television show. I'm not too sure, but I think it's been optioned. So attention now been turned towards the other printings, the second, third printings. The red one is the second printing, and the blue one is the third printing of the first issue of God Country. And both of these are on the rise. Then we get into cover art. Now, certain books, because of the artist or what's drawn on the cover, can be popular, even though the series actually isn't really worth anything, but because what's on the cover makes the book valuable. Power Girl number 27 is a hot book because of the cover. Not for the interior or anything else, but it's a hot book, and it has a character that I don't know why they don't utilize, because Power Girl, DC with Power Girl, you got Power Girl, Zatanna, and a few other ones that could be really a boon for DC to use if they use them correctly. But getting back to what I was talking to, like I said, this book has no apparent value on the inside as far as characterization, story-wise, or whatever. It's just a cover. It's a hot cover. Here's another cover by Adam Hughes for G.I. Joe. Another hot cover of the Baroness. I don't know about the storyline in this one. I don't think the storyline has anything to do with the value of the book. It's the cover art done by Adam Hughes. All right, and the last one that I want to touch on is Sentimental. Now, when I was a kid, what really got me into comic books, and I've said this on many occasions, is Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. At the time, drawn by David Cockrum. But he left this book and went immediately over to doing the X-Men. And when he was on this book, after he left, Mike Grell took over. And here's some examples of the Mike Grell Superboy issue, which I love. Even now, when I see them out in the street or whatever, in the comic book shops or wherever, if they're in fairly good condition, I'll pick them up. And they're cheap, I will pick them up. And truthfully, these are like in high condition. All of them are like $20 books. But you can find these in dollar bins, $5 bins or whatever. But I always have a fondness for Mike Grell's and David Cockrum, Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. And even to go further than that, we can go back to when Kurt Swan when they were first introduced in the Superboy books. Anything dealing with the Legion, I have a fondness for. Now, this current iteration of it and a couple of them before, I bought issues of, but I didn't buy every issue of. Now, this new one by Bendis, I just have it in my pull list, and I'm not too fond of it. There's no action in the book. It's a whole lot of, well, everybody knows Bendis speech or whatever, but you know, my hope is that somebody will come along eventually and take over the book and do the Legion of Superheroes truly justice, because they're a group that, I mean, has so much potential. You know, they're kind of like the X-Men to me of the DC universe, you know, truthfully, because they're so intertwined together. If you go back and if you really dig into the history of the Legion when Dave Cockrum was doing it and the characters that he drew, and you'll find that a lot of the Legion, X-Men characters, two of them in particular, are patterned after his Legion characters. And that some of them, well, at least one of the X-Men was actually up to be in the Legion, but it was rejected by DC because he didn't look right to them. And that was Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler would have been in DC as a Legion superheroes character. But because of how he looked, they said it was just too out there for them, you know. So he kept that one in storage. And when he went to the X-Men, and X-Men was about to be canceled, he used that character in the X-Men, along with Jean Grey's Phoenix costume, which was patterned after Legion, basically the Legion of Superheroes type drawings that he did. Now, moving on, take a little test. I'm going to test myself with some books that I bought today and see if they fit at least 3 of the criteria that I try to set myself out when I go looking for comics. I picked up Avengers Prelude, issue number 1. As far as characters, yes, Scarlet Witch. It's a photo cover of the Scarlet Witch with, I can't even think of her name now. So, Scarlett Johansson. And her covers normally are pretty hot. So we got the characters. We got, it's not a variant, but it's a limited series. The condition is, well, being a new book, it better be in 9.8. 9.6 condition, and so it basically fits, I would say, two out of the 8, which it falls short by 1, but because of what it is, I had to get it. Now this one's brand new. Bounty Hunters #2. It's a second print. It's a hot book, and it's a variant. So it kind of fits three. Hot book, hot characters, and it's a variant. Okay, so it does fit. So that one passes my criteria test as far as a book that I would love to have in my collection. Now this is like I found this because I already have a copy of it, but I picked up another one. This book is gaining some heat, so it follows the criteria for that. It's heat. It's kind of popular. The writer of it, Chip Zdarsky, is kind of like pretty well known. And also, I meant to put that in with the cover art, the writer. Sometimes the writer of a book can turn the tide of a comic book because writers do have followers, especially Jason Aaron, Donny Cates, oh man, oh Lord help me with Capullo. Here we go with that again. I can't get my mind straight, but you get the drift of what I'm trying to say. So I picked up Stillwater. This book is value. It's worth more than cover price, so which is good. It hasn't been optioned for anything that I know of, but a lot of people's eyes are on this book, so I picked up another copy of that. Silver Surfer Black. Picked up another copy of that book. That book has a hot character. It's involved in a hot storyline. It's a #1 issue. And basically it fits the criteria that I'm looking for. It's it's not a real hot book, but it's a book that is worth getting. And it's written by Donny Cates. This one I missed when it came out. I don't know why, but Web of Venom, The Good Son, issue #1. Okay, it's got 2 hot characters in it, following with a hot storyline. It's not a variant, and it's in, well, like I said, 9.8 condition. So it kind of like falls in maybe 2 or 3 of the characteristics that I want out of the book. So it passes the test for me to grab this book and keep it. Lois Lane #7. I got another copy of that. Introduction of a brand new character, a new villain. It's a sought after book, so it has a little value to it. And that's basically it. And condition always goes in. So yes, it falls in in line. I found this book, and it's harder to find now. 7 and 8 are extremely hard to find now. For some reason, this new character, Death or whatever her name is, may become a major player in the DC universe as a whole. And when this came out, it took a minute for people to get the news about it. And then once it hit, this book became really hard to find. Now, Star Wars Kanan. This is issue #5. And this book is overlooked. That's one reason why I got it. Because it does have the Rebels in it. The Rebels are in this book, but it's like nobody's really saying anything about it. Because issue #6 is supposed to be the first appearance of the Rebels. But they have first appeared in issue #1. Then they appeared, I think, in this issue #5. And then they appeared in this issue. This is the one that everybody's clamoring for. I guess because they show up even more and that they're on the front cover. This book, because of how hot it is worth getting. I found this one for actual cover price. And that's like my 4th copy of this. Some books you can find if you hunt for them. They're there. You just gotta know and look. And I find that most comic shops, when it comes to Star Wars books, they're all over the place. They're not treated like Marvel, DC, or even with the independents. Star Wars have, like, I call it a life of their own. You either go to a shop and owners don't really care about Star Wars books, and they're like all in one little bunch. They're not in order. They're just there. Or you go to one shop that dedicates one whole section for just Star Wars books, So, I mean, they're there. You just really gotta hunt. And that's basically how I hunt down comic books when I go hunting, as far as the newer modern books. Now, when you get into some of the advanced areas of looking for books, it gets a little harder. But with time and perseverance, I mean, I'm telling you, you can find some amazing stuff. Now, this is like, okay, here we go in advance. A little bit of the advanced class. Superman the Man of Steel, number 18. All right, this is the direct edition of this book. This book came out in 92. So, the more valuable book is the newsstand. Anything after 1985, 86 in newsstand is really harder to find than it is in direct edition. Because at that time, newsstands were fading out and direct edition was taking over. Comic shops were taking over. Now, you can still dig, because this book came out, I think, all the way up to 5 variants. Now, I have the direct, the newsstand. I have the 4th variant of this, and I have the 5th variant. And the 5th variant also is the DC Universe copy. Now you get into another division of variant, DC Universe books. And I'm quite sure if you've been watching my videos, you know what a DC Universe variant is. Or if you watch other people's YouTube channels that talk about variant comics, everybody's bringing up the DC Universe variants. So that's when you're looking as far as in advance, because you do have a lot of books that have, major printings. The Killing Joke, like, how many printings did that book have? 9, 14? Was it 14 different variants? That's pretty rough, And they said the higher the number goes, the less of a number were printed. This is Superman number 19, The Man of Steel. That's the direct edition. This one looks exactly like it, except for the color in the trade dress. This is the 2nd print. Here we go again for DC Universe logo. This is the 3rd. And notice that the trade dress color is different too. Alrighty. Now, final books I'm going to show are my Ultimate Fallout. This is a 2nd print variant of Ultimate Fallout number 4. First appearance of Miles Morales in the Marvel Universe. It's a highly sought after book. It's not as sought after as the first edition of Ultimate Fallout, or even the 2nd print. The 2nd print that shows Miles' face on. I'll show you when I show you the let me do it this way. This is the 1st print. The 2nd print of this one looks exactly like this, except for the trade dress is different and you have Miles' face showing. And this is the one that didn't come in a bag, or it may have come in a bag when I got it. It didn't have a bag on it. Now this one is still in the bag that it came with. But other than that, there's no difference. Now, if you can find this in the newsstand, oh man, you really got the mother load, and you got it in a 9.8 condition. You got some money. That book is extremely hard to find. And I noticed that I look at a lot of YouTube channels. A lot of people, really blow away newsstands. They don't talk bad about newsstands. They just really don't know too much. Well, they do know, but they don't really care. I mean, that's their option, But I'm always going, if I can get the newsstand over the direct in any book past 1985, I'm gonna get it. And if it's anything before 1985, I want it in direct edition, because that's when newsstands were more popular. Comic book shops weren't really popular until 1985, 86. That's when the changeover started happening, and so on and so forth. So, that's to end this little video on how I approach comics when I go looking for them out in the wild. And I got another little thing. Oh, let me see. I'll do that another time. Some tricks of the trade when you do go hunting or looking for books that make it easier for you to dig through those long boxes with a whole lot of stress. But I'll save that for another video. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it kind of like helped you out as if you're a new person starting collecting, and how to look. Your way may be a lot different than mine, but this is how I normally do it. I normally keep a mental list in my mind of what I'm looking for, and I try not. I don't even have the Key Collector app. I won't get it. I don't really. For me, I don't need it. I mean, I have like a as far as comics, because I like comics so much. As far as bronze, copper, modern, I know what I'm looking for. And sometimes I think when you have an app like that, it kind of handicaps you to a point, because it's so much. I mean, it's great to have, don't get me wrong. It's great to have an app like that because it helps you out if you don't know. But if you rely too much on somebody telling you what's hot, or looking for, instead of relying more on your brain, I don't know. Maybe I'm not looking at the right way. I'm coming off the wrong way, which I'm not trying to do. I'm not trying to put the app down, and I'm just saying, to me, the best way for me to do this is I have to train my brain to know what I want, and to do like little exercises when I go out looking for books. I always look at the UPC code. I always look at the covers. Definitely I look at the condition. And one thing I do know is that when you buy a used comic book, or older comic books, if your store doesn't mind, take the book out of the bag and look at the back, because your front might look like mint, but when you get that bad boy home and you take it out and look at the back of it, it can have more spine ticks, and it can have a rip in the back cover. It can have coffee stains. It could be written on. I mean, just because the front look good doesn't mean the back is going to be good. That's one tip. Especially when you're trying to, you done found a high priced book, but you found it on stealth, and you think you're getting away with murder, and then you get home and you take that book out and you flip it over and you found out that, yeah, it was a reason why that book was in the dollar bin, because the book didn't have a back on it, or it was wrinkled up or whatever. So, I mean, the best part about this whole thing is just having fun. I have great joy out of digging through long boxes. Now I'm telling you, with great joy comes great pain. Like Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, you're gonna have pain, especially when you're older person like I am. Getting on your knees, digging and pulling out boxes, picking up long boxes, moving boxes around. Yeah, it's a strain on the body, you know. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I can say here, I can ramble on and on about comic book tales, you know, adventures that I've had, but I'm not. Save it for another time. So y'all guys be well. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped you a little bit. You know, like I said, I'm not the greatest collector or know all the answers, but I do hope I helped somebody. And on that note, y'all guys be well. Take care. Thanks for everything, and goodbye.